So the first questions talk about just yes or no answer, questions about things you supported or not supported in the past. So were you in support of the Sound Transit expansion that was in last fall?
No, actually I wasn't.
Okay. Were you in support of the Parks and Open Space levy?
I wasn't in support of that either.
Okay. Actually, maybe we should have a little further elaboration, just like a short explanation on the two.
I was concerned about throwing too many property tax levies at the voters all at once. That was really my reason for it. I was also concerned about what I thought disproportionate investment in some of these artificial turf playfields and potential negative environmental impacts. I think there was a strong soccer lobby, for example, behind some of the levy. I'm also a strong advocate for low-income housing, and we have a housing levy coming up this fall, and I was concerned about voter exhaustion in terms of passing levies, and we're all still concerned about that in terms of the levy that's coming up in November.
So I take it you do support the levy that's coming up this November? Is that
Yeah,
the housing levy?
I've
Okay.
been, and if you've read my material, I'm
I
one of the
have.
advocates that put the first levy on the ballot back in '87, whatever it was.
Okay.
And I'm a longtime housing advocate in Seattle.
Okay. As far as the levy itself, is there anything in the design of it as it stands now that you would change?
The housing levy?
Yes.
Yeah, I was part of an ad hoc coalition that tried to convince the city council to increase the levy amount from, I believe, the 145 that will be on the ballot to 167, which was million, which was the recommendation of the levy advisory committee. So that was, I think that's the major issue, and mostly because of just the continuing and growing need to increase our supply of low-income housing. And we need to do everything we can, in my opinion, to increase that supply, because we're losing the ability to support working families in our city. And it's a big issue for me and for a lot of the people that I work with and a lot of people who support me.
Okay. And what are your specific recommendations for affordable housing?
I have on my platform a proposal to increase low-income housing in Seattle by 5,000 units, looking at mechanisms that whereby we could do that. For example, shifting funding from the proposed new $200 million for a new jail. And even if you used half of that, you could build about as many low-income units as the housing levy is going to do. I'm a strong supporter of inclusionary zoning, which would require, we have a very modest incentive zoning program that was recently passed by the City Council. Inclusionary zoning would require developers of projects over a certain number of units, say 6 or 8, to include a certain percentage of units that would be affordable at a set percentage of area median income. There are over 140, not 100, I'm sorry, there are a number of cities in the United States, including San Francisco, that have inclusionary zoning. There are models that we can look at. And there are other mechanisms, shifting the tax credit financing program, the federal government, from a benefit to investors to a direct allocation would increase the amount of money available for low-income housing through from the federal government by a factor of somewhere around 25%. So I have a policy paper that we've developed on how we could come up with 5,000 units, and those are 3 of the strategies that we would be working on.
Okay.